Should Vinny Del Negro stay as Clippers head coach after the season?
Shouldn't have stayed this year.
Should not have.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
14 straight wins. First Pacific Division title. Doesn't mean anything to you.
No, it means something to me.
What does it mean?
First of all, you got to look at the First Pacific Division title. There were 5 teams that were extremely good this year in the West. You know, the West did a lot of beating up on crappy teams. And as we saw, even the 6th seed in the West, a super competent team, and Kobe Bryant, if the Lakers and Kobe stays healthy, as the 7th seed, they're pretty good too, and the Rockets aren't bad. So I mean, the West there are a lot of good teams in the West. So it's not like, yeah, they won the Pacific Division. They won 56 games. They ended up, I guess, tied for the Grizzlies to 56, but they lost the playoff series, and that matters.
That's all that matters.
It's not all that matters, but it matters a lot. And now you've had 2 straight satisfying regular seasons.
Very, yeah.
Now, the flip side is if Chris Paul says, if Vinny Del Negro stays, I stay, well, then I'd keep Vinny Del Negro.
Of course. Yeah, you got to keep your superstar, obviously.
I just think, it's a pretty good team. It could use an elite coach. It seems like
they could use Doc Rivers. That's what you're saying.
Totally. Doc Rivers.
So you agree with Stephen A. Smith that Doc should leave Boston and go to
It's done in Boston.
Doc
is looking at years of figuring that out with Garnett and Pierce, whether they come back or not, given their age. You know, a team built around Rondo is just going to take some time.
Sure.
You know, and so, yeah, if I am Doc Rivers, I would go somewhere where there's a chance to turn a good team into a great team right now. And maybe it's the Clippers. You know, the owner, Donald Sterling, is such a horrible, 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 despicable, disgusting man that that I would be hesitant to go out there and work. But nonetheless, if I'm Doc Rivers, it's a chance. It's certainly a chance to win. And any team, Brooklyn, the Clippers, any team that has a shot, the Wizards, any team that has a shot to get Doc Rivers should get Doc Rivers.
Let me tell you one of the more baffling things I heard today. I'm driving in, and for some reason the lights are out in Culver City because of sprinkling rain that occurred here. And so I'm listening to 710, and Michael Thompson says, you know what, I have an idea. He basically says, you know what they should do? They should have Chauncey Billups retire and come in as head coach. Why? Why would that make sense out of anything? And I was talking to JR about this. We are totally in agreement. When the Bulls hired Vinny, it was like, you know what, here's the guy he's well respected, just like Chauncey, and he's an assistant GM or whatever position he had. Let's hire him as head coach. He was ripped to shreds in the public eye and through the media because he was this new coach. When they were winning, oh, God bless Derrick Rose. When they were losing, it's all on Vinny because he doesn't have head coaching experience. So why would Chauncey, and I mean, I know it's all hypothetical, but it's just so ridiculous.
Why do you, Rick Strom?
Yeah.
You're too obsessed with the level of, not obsessed, too focused on what the mainstream criticism is. Here's why I didn't like Vinny Del Negro as a guy to coach.
Yeah.
Because, first of all, based on his career, right? Like if a guy's going to go from a player to a coach, you want it to be the kind of player who valued the things that coaches can bring, right? And Vinny had this reputation as being as soft a defensive player as there was in the NBA. That, to me, right off the bat, doesn't say coach. Chauncey Billups is a tough player. I don't know what Chauncey Billups.
No, I love Chauncey Billups. I just think, be an assistant coach for a few years and then come in as a head coach.
Why is it, first of all, and one would assume at this point that you got to look at Brian Shaw to coach some of these teams.
Yeah. So. And he's even, I have not heard his name at all for the Clippers.
No, but the Nets are, the Pacers have apparently already given the Nets permission to talk to Brian Shaw as soon as the Pacers season is
Should
over.
the Lakers have, I don't know why I said Lakers, should the Lakers have hired Brian Shaw?
Well, the Lakers should have hired Phil Jackson.
I don't know.
I would have given. I don't know that Brian Shaw has that nice. Brian Shaw was a heck of a defensive player, a guy who made more of himself. There are 2 things to me that NBA coaches have to do. You have to get the most out of your guys, and sort of make. You got to obviously in this stage of the NBA, you got to play defense. The good defensive teams win.